We are going to start today with prepping your core before we get into our weights. Obviously, I've already started working out. This is actually how I'm finishing my workout. So you are actually going to go ahead and start with this workout just to prime your core before you get into your weights, and then you're also going to finish with the same exercises. So first up is you're going to go ahead and get either a 10-pound plate or a 10-pound dumbbell, or 5 or 8, doesn't have to be heavy. We want to add a little bit more resistance, okay? We're going to go ahead and do Russian twists. Biggest thing is when I see people do this, they're crouched. You really want to make sure your chest is out and your shoulders are pulled back, okay? From here, you're just going to slightly lift your toes up, right? Find your balance, and you're going to tap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and slow. 5. Really twist. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep this tempo. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're going to drop the weight and you're just going to hold this boat position. So pull in that belly button into your spine, and we're going to hold for 25 seconds. Keep that chest open. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 5. Feel that pain in your lower back. Pull in the core. 3, 2, and 1. Woo. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and do a hollow hold. So similar to a boat hold, except your back is going to be flat on the floor. So this is going to help make sure you don't feel as much as that back pain because you have a flat surface that you're on. So first things first, you're going to bring your knees up, okay? Notice there's a little dip here. You're going to lift your shoulders so that dip goes away, okay? My back is completely flat, okay? From here, I'm going to set my alarm, and I'm going to hold it for 1 minute. What I'm also going to do is extend my legs just slightly where I can keep my back flat. It's not curling, right? Or curving, I should say. And you're just going to hold it. You want to imagine you got a corset, pulling it in and down into the mat. Okay, if your neck is strained, you can hold your neck. Really want to press in to that mat with your lower back. So I'm only a couple seconds in and I'm shaking, so you should be feeling this. If you're not feeling it, that either means you're not completely flat, you're right, you're not bearing down into the mat, or your legs can go a little bit lower for a little bit more of a challenge. Whew. All right, girlfriend. We're going to go ahead and start with the hex bar. And I want you to grab a band. So you're going to put it just above your knees. You're going to step into the hex bar. The beginning weight should be pretty comparable. So you should be able to like speed through it. But it shouldn't also be like too heavy where you can only do 2 or 3 at a time. So I have 35 on each side. It might be 20 on each side, 25. It might be 45 on each side to start with. Depends on where your leg strength is, okay? Biggest thing is you want to make sure your knees aren't caved, right? So they're not like this. You want to keep your knees stacked over your ankles the entire time. So you're here, you're going to bend down, right? I'm going to come up, make sure my shoulders are back, my chest is out. And from here, I'm just going to squat nice and slow, control it on the way down and up. Drive those knees out, make that fan work. 2, 10, we're doing 12, 9, 8, notice my chest is not moving, my butt is coming down, so therefore everything else comes down. Core tight. Make sure you're not holding your breath. You really want to try and keep your knees stacked over your ankles, so you're pushing your glutes back. I want to imagine there's a chair behind you, and you're placing your butt down on it. All right, from here, you're going to catch your breath if you need to, and then go straight into 10 jump squats. Same thing though, we're keeping those knees stacked over the ankles. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice my butt leads. And 1. You should be feeling a good little burn. If you're not, 2 things. That means the weight was a little too easy for you, and or you're caving your knees. You're not keeping that tension in the band. All right, next up, I have a leverage machine in here. You have something similar in your gym like this. You can go ahead and get on it. If not, you can also use a Smith machine. If you don't have a Smith machine or one of these or something that looks like this, even a hack squat, you can turn into the hack squat, and then you're gonna do your good mornings. You can then just grab a barbell, right? And you're just gonna do that same range of motion. So good mornings is essentially an RDL, okay? The only difference in an RDL, right, is you hold the dumbbells or you hold the bar from below. When it's called a good morning, that means the weight's on the shoulders. That's the only difference, but it is the same hip flexion, right? You're not squatting. So I'm gonna go ahead, get in, right? So your feet are right underneath, about hip width apart, with a slight turn out in the toes, okay? And remember, you're not squatting, you're rotating your hips. So I'm gonna stretch those hamstrings and up. I'm keeping my core tight, my back is not bending, it is straight. And when I go down, you wanna imagine your glutes are flaring out, and then when you come up, you're tucking your glutes in, okay? You're not standing up. Drive. You should feel that hamstring stretch. Nice and slow, especially on the way down. Slow and controlled are your movements. I am struggling, guys, so make sure your weight is challenging. Okay, the only way we grow is by pushing our limits. But be safe with your limits, right? We don't want to compromise our back or our form. We're doing 12 here as well. Our first round of exercise will always be 12. And then the second and third will be 10. That third one, ideally, you want to be able to do 10. Ooh, I'm sweating. 10 reps as well. But maybe you can only do 8 because you up the weight. That's okay. I'd rather have you focus on increasing your weight slowly but surely. So that means an extra 5 pounds, an extra 10 pounds each round. That's progressive overload. So slowly overloading your body until the weight becomes more and more comfortable. So in the beginning, you might only be able to do 5 reps, but then after 2 weeks, you can do 10, right? That's the idea and concept behind progressive overload. And that's where you're gonna really see the gains in your muscle mass, assuming that you're consuming the right amount of protein on a daily basis. Protein is very important. You can work hard as heck in the gym, but if your protein isn't on point, you're not gonna see the growth that you feel you should be based on the weight that you're pushing, okay? So protein. Single leg hip bridges. So you're gonna get a good weight, okay? Because remember, the biggest mistake women specifically, and even men, make with legs is they underestimate the power of their legs and the strength, right? Because it feels heavy in our arms, we think, oh no, that's too heavy. But our legs carry us around all day, every day. So they're strong. All right, so you wanna make sure your foot is just outside 90 degrees, so maybe 95. And you're gonna bring it up. It's a short range down, all the way up. 2, nice and slow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, the first round you're doing 12, second and third you do 10. Next up, switch it over. Make sure your feet are equal distance. Bring it up. Drive. Notice I have a good portion of my back on the bench. So be about where your bra line would be. I'm not going too low. It's more about going up. Also by cutting your distance, meaning not sitting into it. You're keeping your glutes firing the whole time. You're not letting them relax. And that's what we want. Fourth exercise is you're gonna get a heavy dumbbell. It should be more than whatever you use for the single leg because you're not doing one leg at a time, you're gonna be doing both. So that means you should be at least double what you just did on your hip, single leg hip thrust. All right, so we're gonna be in a sumo position. So that means your feet are wider than your shoulders, okay? Checkpoint is if If you look in the mirror and your knees are see how they're going further than my toes, that means I don't have a long enough stride. Okay, so your knees should stay stacked above your ankles. They shouldn't be moving forward, okay? The other thing is making sure, a lot of people will turn out their toes, but their knees stay forward, so they're like this. You have to rotate your knees out to follow your toes, okay? So right here, I got a good stride. I'm gonna grab the weight, start at the top, make sure my chest is open, and then I'm just gonna rotate slowly so I'm pushing the weight into my heels. I'm gonna go all the way down, about 3/4 up, all the way down. So notice I'm not locking out my knees. All the way. First round, you're gonna go ahead and do 15. Second round, you're gonna go up at least 5 pounds, if not 10, and do 12. And then the last round, you should definitely go up at least 10 pounds from your first round, and you're gonna do 10 reps. Those are gonna be your 4 exercises for this leg workout. Be sure your weight is challenging, okay? That you're pushing yourself. Notice I'm out of breath, right? I'm sweating. This should not be easy for you. If your goal is to grow, you have to get used to getting uncomfortable in the gym, okay? So mind over matter it. If you're getting to that last set and you can only do 2 at a time with the weight increase, that's okay. Do 2 at a time until you hit your 8 or until you hit your 10 reps. It doesn't mean you have to do them all the same, right? It's supposed to get harder with each round. So don't get discouraged. Also track your weights. So when you do this workout again, the following week, you know what your baseline is, and you should be able to increase at least 5 pounds.